You might think it's normal to be plagued by negative emotions throughout your day. But life isn't supposed to be that way. You can live your life utterly free of hurt, upset, worry, and fear, and exist in continuous happiness. Rhonda Byrne wrote that in her newest book, The Greatest Secret. And today we welcome her back in this episode of Letting Go and The Greatest Secret, a podcast dedicated to sharing the wisdom so beautifully expressed in her book. I'm Hale Dwoskin. Best-selling author Rhonda Byrne launched a global phenomenon with The Secret in 2006. I was featured in the book, which helped readers understand their untapped powers. Rhonda's newest book, The Greatest Secret, is a quantum leap that takes you beyond the material world into the spiritual realm, where all possibilities exist. It reveals the greatest discovery you can ever make and shows the way out of negativity, problems, and what you don't want to a life of permanent happiness and bliss. I'm also blessed to be featured in The Greatest Secret, along with my mentor, Lester Levinson.
There's one gentleman who fully awakened, Hale, fully, from just reading the Apple preview of the book.
That's great.
Right? And
Right.
so he was like a full awakening. And so he was in Europe, I think in Sweden, one of the Scandinavian countries anyway. And so he just woke up fully from the book, and he wrote to me and said he's doing okay. He said it's a very interesting journey, talking and walking. He's just been staying quiet and keeping to himself. And so that was another one. So but there are lots. I wish that if anybody out there is woken up, right. We want to hear.
Yeah. So
I want to read. I want to hear.
Yeah. So let's invite everyone listening to this to contact Rhonda. What's the best way to contact you?
Through the secret.tv website and the contact us form. And they can, because it's so wonderful to hear that. And also I get a lot of messages when I'm doing the Facebook and Instagram lives, and I get a lot of messages from people, they're sort of fleeting and going past, but people that have had, realization from reading the book. And, it's just kind of, isn't it? It's really, is the mind still enough for you to see what's right here in front of you?
Right.
Or is the mind just going to jump in and conceptualize it all? That's really it. If the mind could just be still for a second, every single person would see the truth.
That's right.
Right?
Yes.
That easy.
Not only that, but we often believe that the truth is separate or distant from where we are right now. That awareness that we are, or that beingness, is at the heart of everything we're experiencing every second. And that's true if you're completely contracted or really awake to the truth of who you are. And that's why I think most of us miss it. It's because it's so obvious. It's so right so here, obvious. Right now.
It's so, but I was thinking about this week, that I think for my life, I spent a lot of my life out here into the future. I especially spent a lot of my life out here because I was very kind of passionate about work and ran a company, so was ambitious, and not so much back here, not so much back there, but a lot here. And I don't know that I was ever here. Right here.
Right. Yeah, right in this moment. Yeah.
Right here. And not here, not there, not there.
Not in the back, not forward.
In the back, not forward, but right here. oh my gosh, it's right here.
Right.
And so, yeah, I was thinking about it this week, and I feel that I'm just like that average person out there. So I think most people are out here, out here or out here
In the back or
or
looking
in the
back. Yeah.
back, looking
Yeah.
back, regret, or this, or that. It's gone. It's all gone. It's gone.
Yeah.
No need to just let it go. Forget all about that.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't
So,
know who I heard this from, but I agree with it 100%. But the past is dead,
yeah,
and the future never happens.
right. Never happens.
That's
Exactly.
right.
You know, the imperator that I was talking to you about from the Rose Cross Order, he said to me about the past, is what he said about the past. He quoted from the Bible, and he said, let the dead bury the dead.
Right.
Yeah. And that was how he was saying to me, is gone. It
Yes.
has
Yes.
completely gone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It doesn't exist anymore.
That's right.
Yeah. So,
That's
yeah.
yeah. So I think one of the keys is, as I already mentioned, that what you'll discover as you read The Greatest Secret or you explore any truth teaching and you start to recognize who you are, you'll get either massive, complete transformation in an instant, or you'll be like most of us, where it's a gradual opening and unfoldment.
Mm.
But it's however you're seeing who you truly are, it's the beginning. It's an opening to what's
Mhm.
true, what's real, what's beautiful, what's exquisitely
Mm.
natural.
Yes.
Which is kind of weird that it's so natural and we
I
miss it.
know.
But anyway, so let's talk about, let's give people some tips and pointers and
Mm.
things they can do to support this natural unfoldment that happens as you start to recognize truth. So what are some of the things that you've said to people that they found helpful,
Mm.
or you've heard that?
I don't know, because when I'm on Facebook or Instagram Live, for example, when I said that one thing that made that lady wake up, and actually she was not the only one, somebody else wrote in and said, you said this thing that you didn't say in your book, and that is what that woke me up. And I don't know, because I just sit there and it just all comes out,
Right,
So,
right.
but if I talk about from the experience here
Yes,
of
that's the only way to
what,
do it.
yeah, the experience of after awakening, and just the joy of the realization, which just swept me away. And I just want to tell everybody, and of course you can't really, like, they have to realize that it's not so much something you can tell.
Yes.
They've got to realize it for themselves. But you wouldn't want to rob anybody anyway. You want them to have that incredible moment of realization, because that's just the moment of our life.
Yes.
But the biggest thing for me was to stay as what I am, and and not falling back into the mind and the ego, and so I became that was what I put all of my energy toward, was just finding ways to remember awareness. And that's why in The Greatest Secret that I had Am I Aware, because there was quite a few years of trying all different things to what brings awareness, it doesn't make sense to say that, because awareness is always here, but what consciously, what makes awareness here that I'm aware of it consciously. And so am I aware was a really great question to ask, because the mind just stops just for that second when you ask that question, because it can't possibly answer that question at all. And just in that moment, it drops. And then when the mind has dropped, well, there you are in all of its, there's awareness in all of its glory. And so I did that as a practice for a long time. And then I found that I couldn't even have the thought, am I aware? Couldn't even have it, because just would straight away notice awareness. And
Yes.
so then it became noticing awareness, staying as awareness, noticing awareness, staying as awareness. And in that, I became very aware of the mind, because in awareness is peace and happiness, and then the mind is turbulence and tension and holding on and all of those kinds of things. So that for me is the biggest thing, because the world is full and dazzling and distracting, and there's we've been practicing being a person. Well, I had for a lot of decades, and so to then just keep staying as what I am was the big thing for me.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Mm. But as I continued to do that, those steps that I just mentioned, awareness just became fuller, more open, more open, more open,
Yes.
full,
More. Yeah.
more open, more open, more open. And so it was, I mean, just amazing, just deeper, just, yeah. The words are really hard to find because we're trying to define something that is not physical, and the words from the mind are all describing objects and physical things. So
That's right.
that's why it's really hard to describe it. But hopefully in an attempt to describe it, people can feel the energy and the joy, and that's coming from that. And yeah, so that's what I mean. I had the awakening in 2016, and so since then, that's what I've been doing, and just staying, yeah, just doing everything to stay as awareness. And I mean, I don't know when I'm not anymore. I don't know when that. I feel like it's always here, all the time, consciously.
Yes.
Because the mind is very, very quiet now, and there's constant foundation of happiness and peace, and even through these turbulent times in the world, and aren't they turbulent, our
Yes.
movie that we're making at the moment, with such peace, more peace through the turbulence than
Yes.
there
Yes.
was before.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, my experience has been very similar to, I, I first started recognizing this in the 90s, but uh, if I look back at my life, I realize, and you probably, if you look back at your life now from this perspective, probably would see the same thing, that there were many moments before where I actually was experiencing pure awareness.
Yeah.
And I wasn't doing it consciously. I thought it had to do with other things. And
Right.
as simple as watching a sunset, or
Yeah.
when I was very young, I remember this moment of pure awareness where I was just fishing on this clear lake and watching. I didn't want to catch the fish. It was weird. I was in a boat fishing, but I didn't really want to catch the fish, but I loved watching them. And there were these sunfish, which are very beautiful fish. And I was just I had completely dissolved into the scene as a young child, had no idea what was going on. It was only after the fact. And I bet you if anyone looks, they'll notice that they've been tasting this truth, pure awareness, often on their whole lives. And in addition to it being the center of everything they experience now. And one of the things that helped me tremendously was, at some point in the 90s, I recognized that the mind, I kept trying to get back to awareness at first.
Yeah.
And then
I know that.
yeah, it's not what, yeah, that's the mind.
That's what you do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then at a certain point, I realized, wait a minute, I've got this backwards. It's just the mind that's coming and going. Let it. It has nothing to do with what I am.
Yeah, because in between is awareness, right? In
Yes.
between. And I mean, awareness is there all of the time, but the the feeling of awareness in between the mind, which I guess is why we love sleeping so much.
Right.
Right.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
In deep sleep, there, I just heard this from, since I, for many years, I just focused on the Sedona method and Lester's teachings to exclusively, except for Robert Adams. I was very into Robert Adams too.
Yeah, I love Robert Adams.
And I met Francis and loved him for also in the 90s. But for decades, I didn't really listen to any other teachers. But because of being in the book and me interviewing all these teachers, I've been talking to and listening to the other teachers. And I heard this recently. Which teacher is it from? I hope I can remember. But anyway, but the gist of it is this: in sleep, where we think that we're unconscious, but it's in deep sleep, but it's not that we're unconscious. Awareness is experiencing the lack of experience. Instead of we're having an experience of nothing, as opposed to of something. And because there's no mind there to record it.
Yeah.
So even when we're in deep sleep, and that's part of the reason we love it, is because there's no distraction. We're just experiencing that pure being.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. And we must know, we must be aware, because when we wake up in the morning, we would say, oh, I had the most gorgeous sleep.
Right.
But how do we know we had the most gorgeous sleep? Unless we're awareness.
That's right.
How would we know?
We wouldn't. Exactly. Yeah. So
I love that.
What's that?
I love that. I love what that person said about no experience.
Yes.
Experience of nothing.
Right.
Compared to experience of something.
Right. So and so one of the things that I've also found helpful, and you tell me if this has been your experience or you've gotten feedback like this, is that not fighting with the contents of the mind as it comes up, welcoming it, allowing it, being present with it.
Right.
Yeah, I know it was talked about in The Greatest Secret, but can you talk more about that the allowing for what is to be as it is what awareness does naturally. You have to work at it.
Yeah. And if we're reacting to something, well, that's the mind.
Yes.
And if we're saying, I don't want that, that's the mind. And if we're being critical or if we're judging, all of that is the mind. And so, but definitely what I did would welcome, I welcome a negative memory. If there's a memory that comes up, if I see an image of something, like I remember I was welcoming something else entirely, and I saw this image of when I was about 5, and the girl next door ripped my doll's head off, and we had made these dolls, and I had fluked in making a really gorgeous doll, and so she ripped the head off, and this image just came up, and I was like, wow, okay, ready to go, that image is ready to go. So just welcoming that, but welcoming any sort of negative ideas, any thoughts, and especially negative feelings. And that's what I've done. Yeah, religiously.
Yes.
That's what I've done. And so in doing that, I'm not fighting with thoughts. I don't need to. All we need to do is just not identify with them, not believe them.
Yes.
That's the thing. But the way that I found, the way to not believe them, the way you're not engaging the mind, is to welcome. Yes. Because welcoming the mind can't be there for that process, everybody. No. the mind's not there. It's the one thing you can count on. It's a guaranteed process you can do where the mind is not there. And then everything just dissolves so beautifully. And it's just so fast, right?
Yes, and
So
easy. Yeah. Yeah.
easy. I mean, I can sound like a broken record because I'll say to my daughter, well, welcome that, well,
Right.
I think you better welcome that. But I mean, it's the easy way. And so most definitely that is what I've done. So they're the two things, and they're the two practices in the book. And of course, all of the Sedona method is about releasing. But they're the two practices in the book, and they're the two things that I've done religiously.
Yes.
And so I absolutely know that what happens to our life when we're taking those steps. Like, didn't Lester say that beautiful thing? I think it's in the book, and I can't remember exactly the words, where he would say, you take one step toward the infinite and it takes 10 steps toward you.
Yes.
Something beautiful. I love that. I love that. I just think it's encouraging, for people if
it is encouraging
at the beginning. Yeah. Mm.
The other thing is that Lester used to say, instead of reason towards the truth, he said reason from the truth. And what he meant by that is,
wow.
At least the way I see it now, is if you pay attention to awareness, you'll notice that it is pure allowing, pure welcoming, pure love. And so when we're experiencing the love for anything or anyone, or we're experiencing that sense of acceptance, or that sense of peace, or that sense of allowing or welcoming, that's coming directly from awareness itself.
Yeah.
And
right.
If you can, as people get in touch with that, it takes the process to a much deeper level, because they realize that they're not welcoming. Awareness is already welcoming everything that's appearing in experience.
Yes.
Have you had that experience where you
yes, definitely. And I think in the welcoming, like, because if something comes up and we felt some emotion or there's negative thoughts, we're resisting it, right? We're completely resisting that. So for me, welcoming is the way that I'd stop resisting.
Right.
So it just, I just welcome, and all the resistance goes away. And of course, the welcoming is just opening to awareness. That's what it is.
Yes.
That's all it is, so that awareness can be here. And then you can feel the energy of whatever it was. You can feel it, sometimes you can feel it like rising in your chest, as my teacher would say. You can feel the energy. And she would also say that the body is an automatic self-cleaning mechanism.
Yes.
And so while we're in awareness, everything is, all of the memories and all of the negativity and all of the limiting beliefs and all of the negative emotions are all being released.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. That's why you feel so good, right?
Yeah.
It feels so good not to have that stuff.
Oh, I know. And again, for those people still struggling a little bit, remember, this is not a denial of whatever's happening in life. It's about the more you recognize that you are that which is aware, as opposed to the one caught in the drama. The drama seems less enticing, less sticky, and you actually deal with life in a way that's so much more naturally constructive and helpful to you and everyone else. And so you don't have to. Some people worry. I've heard people say to me that, well, who's going to take care of my life if I don't?
They weren't anyway.
That's right. Exactly. The more you let go and recognize the truth of who you are, you realize that you weren't taking care of it anyway. Awareness was always in charge.
Always.
And always will be.
Which is you. It's just we've got the wrong you,
Right. Totally.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I recognized that awareness was having a human experience as opposed to I thought I had to get to awareness, but I
Yeah.
realized that awareness was already having the experience of being the human.
Yes.
And I was
Yeah.
ecstatic for days. I could hardly
Oh,
function
that's
because
beautiful.
we have it so
We
backwards.
do. Oh, for quite a while, I was trying to get to awareness.
Yes, yes.
For about 6 or 9 months, I think I was like trying to get somewhere over there. Awareness is over there, and yeah, and and then I just had, even though my teacher would say it's not over there, I
Right.
still kept doing it. I still kept doing it. And then finally I was just had this realization. You just have to realize everything for yourself, don't you? And
Yes.
there can be the perfect word just said on it. It may be a sentence you've heard a million times before, but just on this particular day, you hear that one sentence and bingo, that's it. And
Yes.
this is super, super, super simple. This is not complicated. And so the mind tries to complicate everything. Look how it complicates our lives.
I know. I know.
But it's really, really simple. Really simple. Although didn't Lester used to say simple but not easy?
Well, actually, what he used to say is
What did he
it's
say?
either simple or impossible.
Oh yes, right.
And what he meant by that is it's simple when you allow it to be. When you're just seeing it from the perspective of the truth of who you are, everything is so simple and so natural and so easy. But if you think you mind is going to awaken to the truth of who you are, that person or memory that we often identify with, then it's impossible, because the awakening is actually from this sense of you
Yeah.
as opposed to for you. And that
Yes.
was also a big recognition for me.
Yes. Well, that's beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. See, I used to think, oh, I just want Rhonda to disappear. I just want her
Right.
to go. I don't want to be Rhonda anymore. I just want to be who I am. And even in some ways, I got that messed up because I was like, Rhonda's here, so awareness is over there,
Right.
and something else has to come and
Yes.
take over here. But it's not the case at all. And so I realized that the one that I thought I was is the one that I really am,
Yes.
except without the story. And this is what I think is lovely to tell people, because you might get a bit scared. Oh, I don't want to lose me.
Right.
Like I've invested a lot into me.
Oh, yes.
Don't want to lose me. But what goes is what was never real in the first place, which is just the story from the past and all of that, and the mind, and you get to use that, when you need it, instead of it being beating you up and with all kinds of things and torturing us and making us suffer and everything.
Yes.
And so that goes to the background. And the you that I have always felt that I am is the you that we really are.
That's right. That's right.
It's not another you. It's just the
No.
you without the name. We could go like this. We could say it's the you, but take away the name and the body and the mind. Take away those, and it's the you that's left.
That's right.
Right?
Right.
Yeah, that's the
Right.
you, and it's glory, and that you is so happy.
Oh, it is happiness
Oh,
itself.
yes,
That's why
so
we get
happy.
confused. We think we need to change something in the
Mm,
world or in our body or in our mind to be
yeah,
what we already are.
yeah, which
But
we've
nothing
already
needs to change.
nothing. No. Just don't go along with that mind and that ego all the time. But you can't do that. That's why it needs to come from awareness. Because if you decide, oh, okay, like I'm not going to, I'm not going to listen to the mind anymore. I'm going to let the mind go. Well, that one that's talking, that's the mind. That's
That's right.
fine. And the mind is saying, yeah, let's get him, right?
I know.
And then the mind will say, good on you, let's do it. But it's the mind,
Uh,
it's the mind that's doing
exactly.
it. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. And it's it's just so much simpler than that. And yes,
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with that person that you used to believe you were. It's just believing you are her or him is the only problem.
that's the only thing. And you don't really want to be that, because that one had a birth, and that one the body ends,
Yes.
so that's why this is the most incredible discovery you can ever make. It's the best news you'll ever hear, because there was no beginning to you and there's no end to you,
Right.
and all that is you is everything glorious that you love, right? All
Yeah.
of the love and intelligence and knowing and joy and clarity and openness and
Yes.
all of the things that we strive for in our physical form are all of the things that we are already.
Yes. We already are what we're looking for. Yeah. What a joke.
Well, that's why I laugh a lot. I really do laugh a lot
Yeah, I know.
in talking about this, because he's such a joke. Oh my gosh.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, it's right. It's right. Yeah, but as you know, I think that we need to, it, I don't think anything's accidental. I think everything is perfection. And somehow we all needed to have this misconception of being a person in order to see through it and
Mm,
recognize that we've never been that.
yeah.
And Lester used to say, people would ask him, why would unlimited beingness limit themselves in this way?
Mm,
And he
mm,
would answer like this. He would say, well, first you see it as a dream, and then you see it as a dream that never really was.
yeah.
And what he meant by that is, uh, if you always experience health, you don't really appreciate it. It's just
That's
what's
right.
natural. But
Yeah.
if you experience a little disease and then you experience health, all of a sudden you really appreciate it. And
Mm,
he said it was the same with awareness, as when awareness gets restricts itself into a body
yes.
mind form,
Yes. Yes.
it can feel how dense that is. So when it experiences itself again as pure awareness,
Yes.
there's a totally different experience of it, and
Right.
which is beautiful.
Oh, it is. It is. It's true. You would never, as we are happiness, and so to experience sadness or any of those emotions, that's why we so strive for happiness, because sadness isn't really a lot of fun,
No.
especially if you believe that's what you are.
Yes.
So yes,
Yes.
yeah, he
But
was amazing, Lester. Right, it was
yeah.
amazing.
Oh, I was so fortunate.
Oh, well.
Lester. I had no idea at the beginning that what our relationship was going to be like. I just met him and really resonated with him and knew I wanted to help him. But uh, over and over again, when I was starting to go off track, even when I wasn't in the same city, he'd call me up and say, "Don't go that way, go this way." And I went,
Oh
"Okay."
my gosh. Oh my gosh, so beautiful. But
Yeah,
I mean, look, Hale, what you've done in carrying on, the legacy of his work is just so extraordinary. Everything that you've done all of these years and reached so many people. It's really, really something.
yeah,
He
yeah.
left his work in very good hands.
Yeah. Although I fought him in the beginning, I said, "You are you kidding? You want me to be in charge of this? You must be
Really?
crazy." I did. I fought him. I said, "Don't you want to start a nonprofit and have a board?" And I said, "No, I want you to do it." And
Mm.
and I had to let go a lot. This is before
Oh,
I really was. I was. It was still. I still believed I was a person looking for awakening,
yes,
and
yes,
so I had to
yes.
let go a lot
Oh my
to
gosh.
accept that mantle. And when it was only after the fact, many years later, I realized why he was so insistent. And also, I don't feel like
Why
I've
was he
done
so insistent? I have to
well
ask a
because
question the audience are all asking.
Well, what's when Lester was alive, there were only a handful of people doing this. Even
Yeah.
when he passed away in '94, I think there were 7,000 graduates of the Sedona method. Uh, Now there are hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people using this all over the world, and millions have been affected by it. They've tasted parts of it because, you know, the Sedona method now is kind of behind so many other teachings, most of it without credit, but so what? It's behind all these other teachings. So on that level, it's reaching millions and millions of people. And I don't take credit for any of that. It has nothing to do with Hale in any way, shape, or form. I think Lester knew that I'd keep myself out of the way enough that this all could come through. Because I can't,
Wow.
it doesn't make logical sense, but that's what happened.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Really wonderful. Yeah.
So, what else can we say to people? What other tips or pointers do you think would be helpful for people?
What are the stumbling blocks or the obstacles, do you think?
Well,
Beliefs?
beliefs, yeah, beliefs. Well, and resistance too.
Resistance, yeah.
Mhm.
I've just been experimenting with just letting go of resistance,
Yes,
and just multiple times in the day, just checking in and just letting go. So like the one-stop shop. So instead of letting go of that memory or that situation, or instead just feeling for, even when, doesn't matter how many times I do it, but even when I just come to it of welcoming resistance, immediately there's a softening,
yes,
it's
yes,
straight
yes, yes.
away. And of course, it's way, way smaller than it ever was before, but it's just that beautiful feeling. And so I've been experimenting with that because I can see, I mean, there's so many things, right? Especially with what everybody's been through in the last year or so, but all of that's a gift, right? Because it's helping
Yes,
people wake up. Uh, but there've been difficult times for people. And so a lot of resistance then rises up, and there's a lot of resistance. There appears to be a lot of resistance of division and separation, and which is incredibly interesting because we're all one and there's
right.
no separation. But there's all of that going on as well. So I see a lot of resistance, and when something goes wrong, oh no, and all of those things. And I just feel like we're piling on a lot of resistance, and kind of my pet subject at the moment to look at, just because the moment you welcome, there's no resistance. Like
Yes,
you can't, it's the opposite of resistance. Resistance is that, and welcoming is that. And
exactly.
so, yeah, it's your arms out. And so yeah, instead of choosing particular subjects at the moment, I'm just kind of welcoming resistance, and I love it. I just love it, just sort of checking in, just every now and again, just checking in and just opening. And I don't know how much I open anymore because it's very open here now.
Yes, yes.
I think I'm like playing a game a little bit because it's so open, and I don't know what other word to use for people. It's I'm sure it's why I walk on the beach each day, and I'm sure it's why we love to walk on the beach,
Yes,
or be in big open spaces, and we just take it all in, or see the horizon, or look up at the sky, and it's just so open, and it's a beautiful feeling, isn't it? And I'm just like, we have that feeling because that's what we are. We
yes,
are just this gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous openness. That's
yes,
just all, yeah. I just, so yes, that to try and explain to anybody is really difficult, that the more that you live and stay as who you are, the more open you will be. And that is what had me realize how closed I was before I woke up.
Yes,
So
yes,
closed with my own opinions, the mind's opinions, perspectives, beliefs. All of these things belong to a person, and all of those things are what close us up. And everybody likes to say they have an open mind, don't they?
yes, yes.
Everyone, everyone will say,
That's a
"Oh,
good
I'm gonna."
saying.
Yeah, it's a good saying. I've got an open mind. I've got an open mind, but in actual fact, we're not very open.
Right, right.
As a person, we're not open at all because we've just got too many fixed beliefs and too many opinions and perspectives, and all of those things are closing us down from the beautiful openness and freedom that we are. And so
Yes.
we don't need
Well
any of
said.
those things, right?
No, we
We
don't.
just don't, but it's a one-stop shop because
Yes.
because it's just all you have to do is just welcome and just notice awareness and stay as awareness and just do that,
Yes.
and all of those things will just disappear. The people that just used to annoy you won't annoy you anymore.
Right, right,
You'll be
right.
like, oh no, they're very sweet, I see that you mean
Yes.
so well. And nothing kind of bothers you anymore. So
Yes.
I just wish I could just give a spoonful to everybody.
Well, but every time you talk about it, all those
Yes.
wonderful Facebook lives and
Mm.
all the things you're doing, I mean, even like this interview, people, I find I need and other people need to constantly discuss this amongst themselves and
Absolutely.
listen to other people who are recognizing this for themselves. We are all in this one beautiful community of like-minded people all over the planet that are supporting each other in recognizing more and more of the truth of who they are. And sometimes people will just say something, and this is anywhere in life, will just say something, and all of a sudden you'll notice that, oh, well, you either notice, oh, I've been limiting myself the same way. And rather than judging them, it just dissolves inside of you.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
you'll see their openness to something as your openness, because
Right.
it's the same.
Right. Right.
And so
Beautiful.
in some level, I think everyone, whether they believe, if they think they still have more to go before they recognize the truth of who they are, or they're in the process of the natural unfoldment that happens afterwards, I think we're all here to just support each other and in recognizing this truth. And you're doing such a wonderful job in continue, beside the book itself, of course, is a breakthrough. That it's that being in mass consciousness is a breakthrough. But all the things that you continue to do to just point people in this direction is just the one self using that particular body mind in a beautiful, beautiful way. Beautiful.
You're totally right, because I remember at the beginning, for me, all that I wanted to do was to hear it being spoken about, and to listen to conversations, to listen to Q&As, and I didn't read anymore so much, but I wanted to hear. I just wanted, just let me hear, just talk about this, just yeah, I loved hearing about it, and I especially loved, and everybody's different, but I loved the really, really direct,
Right, right,
like
right.
so direct. Like I just wanted it right between the eyes.
That's right.
And I just wanted no sugarcoating, no nothing, just give it to me as it is. And so I was lucky enough to attract a teacher who was exactly like that. And she is really tough, but I just had realization after realization, just listening to her, and somebody asking her a question, and I would be sitting there, oh, and all of a sudden everything just got way more open, I'd be like, oh, and I just, yeah, absolutely loved it. And what I noticed is that one of the things that I've noticed is memories all of the memories have now just like fading into the sunset.
Right.
Yeah, and I don't know, I don't really remember a lot of things anymore. And I mean, I remember some things in the moment. I remember something,
Yes.
but I don't have, I'm sure that's why I feel so light. I just don't have all this big sack of memories and that I'm identified with. And which is really great. I mean, sometimes I can't remember things, but I'm like, this is so great. I don't remember.
Right.
I don't remember.
Yeah. But again, I believe that's a natural part of the process, is that the most of the time we calibrate our life to what was as opposed to what is. Well, actually, what was or what might be as opposed to what is. And you don't need memory for that. And
No.
what I've always noticed, though, I work with people, and I might not see a student for 10 years. And when I first see them, there's a recognition. Yes, I know this person. We've worked before, but I couldn't tell you what our last interchange was unless I need to know it. If they ask me a question about it, something that happened 10 years ago, it's there instantaneously. Otherwise,
Oh,
the mind is completely blank.
yeah, that's perfect. That is perfect, isn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Wow. And what sort of changes have you noticed with the body? What did you notice after awakening with the body? Like,
Well, what I've noticed is several things. First off, I've noticed that whenever I have the awareness of the self-recognition has deepened, there's this profound sense of relaxation that feels like it goes down to the absolute cellular level,
mm,
where it's really almost hard to describe. It's just that everything becomes smooth or even, both, and it doesn't end at the body either. It's very interesting. The other thing I notice about the body is the body, I'm still aware of the body, but that which I am doesn't end at my skin
no,
in
no,
any way, shape, or form.
no. You can prove that to people, though, can't you, with a simple exercise?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, like if they close their eyes, and they try and find the border of their edge of their body and space with their eyes closed,
Yeah, you can't find it.
you can't find that border.
Yeah.
No,
But also, a
absolutely.
wonderful thing to do is just
Yeah,
each time you recognize that you are awareness, you can just simply check, does that have any boundaries that you can
right.
find in this moment?
Yeah, yeah,
And
that's good.
instantly you can feel that it's boundless.
Yeah,
You don't have to believe that that awareness is boundless. Just see if you can find a boundary in it. You
yeah,
can't.
yeah.
Or a location. Does it actually have a specific location? No.
Right.
And you can ask yourself that. Does that awareness that I am, is it just in this body, or is it everywhere? And if you just feel it, you don't have to think about it. If you just feel it, you can feel that it's everywhere present.
Mm, yeah.
And another wonderful thing that I've been recommending to people recently is, if you every time that a way to solidify this experience of awareness for you is to do what we just did, is to, can you find any boundaries, but then turn around and look at the world and check to see as if anything you're seeing is actually anything but awareness. You can look at any object, and if you look at it, you can feel that that's awareness too.
Yeah.
It's not separate from that
No,
one awareness that you
no.
are. And in seeing that, it deepens the awareness is self-recognition, because
Mm,
then there's no inside, no outside, no here, no there. There is
yeah.
just that which all is, and you are, I am, all are.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's great. So did you anything else with the body that
Well, the
mean,
body
I think,
still, the body will, this body is getting older. And so it
yeah.
has the usual aches and pains of the body. But I
Are they in
remember,
the background, Hale?
yes, not only are they in the background, I had this experience in 1989, 98, no, 98, where I had just led a retreat it was only a small retreat. I think only about 40 people. They're much bigger now, but it was an exquisite retreat. Everyone was recognizing truth, and it was beautiful. And yet the body started having these physical symptoms, and I 24 hours later I collapsed and was sent to the emergency room. I was living in Sedona at the time, up in Flagstaff, and the doctors didn't know whether I was going to live or die. And there was also a lot of pain. And I had encephalitis meningitis.
Oh, wow.
But Lester used to say, you should be able to watch the body go through intense physical illness, even to the point where you might die. And so I was pulled right into this experience. And what was beautiful about it is I was completely neutral about whether the body stayed or left.
That's great.
And without having had that experience, I never would have believed it was even possible.
Wow. That is great.
Yeah. And it really also helped me talk to people when they're struggling with physical illness to recognize that they're not the body.
Yeah.
And yes,
because I know that you use this as well, that to ask the question which immediately stops you from identifying with the body or what's going on within the body is, am I that or am I that which is aware of it?
Yes. Yes.
And that immediately creates that, it stops the identification with the body, because of course you're the one that's aware.
Yes.
You're always the one. But sorry, please continue.
Oh no, so that was really helpful. But how I experience it now is sometimes the body certainly has pain, but there's no suffering, because there's the body is having these strong sensations, but that's not me. I'm not that. And so I'm still aware of it, and I still take care of it and do whatever I can to support the body on every level. I do yoga. I walk every day. I do all these things. I eat a natural vegan diet of whole foods, and so I take care of the body. But Lester used to say, you'll take care of give the body what it needs. Take care of the body, but don't get lost in it. Don't. And that's my experience. You don't need to get lost in it.
No, or worship it.
Or worship it, yes.
Which I think a few might do that.
Yes.
Yeah. Because one tends to worship it if you think it's who you are.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Well, it's a love-hate relationship if you think it's
Isn't
who you
it?
are.
Oh,
you love it because it's giving you this life experience, but you hate it for the same reason, because you feel if it dies, you die. If it's sick, you're sick. If it suffers, you suffer. And you feel dependent on it. And that breeds tremendous resentment. The more you feel like you are the body, the more you resent it.
Yes. No, it's challenging for people, for sure.
Yes.
Especially physical challenges, but then they're a gift too, aren't they? They're a gift to the truth, telling us this is not who you are.
Yes.
Yeah. So everything's like a door that opens. Every difficult situation, like all of the fear that people felt recently, and is also a door.
Yes,
For freedom. It's a freedom door.
It's a freedom door. Exactly. It's totally a freedom door. Yes. Everything we experience is just an invitation to be what we are. And even if it doesn't feel that way, it doesn't matter. It's all this beautiful gift
It is.
inviting us to the home we've never left. If you want, we're going to leave people with just one thing to focus on from everything we talked about, or something we haven't covered. How would you kind of summarize it as a takeaway for people?
I mean, the most important thing is to ask yourself the question, if you've not seen who you are, is to ask yourself the question, am I aware? And immediately awareness is there. Notice awareness and stay as awareness. For me, that's just to stay as who you are is the greatest thing you can ever do, because it just solves everything. It dissolves everything that you don't want, and it brings everything that you do want arises in its place.
Beautifully said. I hope you enjoyed our time with Rhonda Byrne, and I wholeheartedly encourage you to get her two wonderful books, The Secret and The Greatest Secret. You can get them wherever books are sold, anywhere in the world. If you've enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe so you have immediate access to future episodes. Please give us a 5-star rating and share it with people you care about. If you'd like to learn more about my work, my mentor, Lester Levinson's work, and the Sedona method, please visit Sedona.com. As you explore our site, you'll learn the key to lasting happiness, success, peace, and emotional well-being. We have books, courses, events, and plenty of free material to explore. Again, go to Sedona.com. That's Sedona.com. Thank you for being here. We'll catch you on the next episode of Letting Go and the Greatest Secret.